Here we go. Three, two, one, live from Long Island, New York. A beautiful, absolutely beautiful afternoon here on Long Island. The sun is shining. Agnes, did you get out to get into it today?
Oh, absolutely. I was out there, like my husband would say, it's a beautiful day for a wedding. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
yes.
and Friday's good too, and right before wedding season. Because if you go in June, I'm sorry, they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg.
You're getting discounts when you're getting when you have the party on Friday. On Friday,
Exactly.
yeah, you pay less.
Yeah, you pay less
Just
if it's on
saying.
Friday, and you pay less if it's like not June, July, August, one of those months. You probably want to stay away from those. You can get away with something in May, but for the most part, June, July, August are really expensive. And today's topic is interesting because if you were not to spend a whole bunch of money on marriage and actually spend it on marriage counseling, maybe it'll last a little bit longer. Today, we're going to talk about marriage counseling and why people need it. We'll be right back. Yes, marriage counseling is a must. And here is why. We're going to be talking with Agnes Amasano, who is a marriage counselor and a wedding officiant. I'm introducing you like you're a brand new person, right? Wedding counselor and wedding officiant. Um, we're going to be talking about the reasons why you need marriage counseling. And as someone who has been married, I swear, you absolutely. You think love is enough, especially when you're young. Like, love will sustain us. We'll be fine.
Of course.
All we need is love and one another.
Love is patience, love is kind.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. And then that one issue just chips away. And the next thing you know, it's like the floodgates come in and then it's all over. Agnes, what are the main reasons you feel like people need marriage counseling?
I think that fantasy takes over at the beginning. We're gonna be different. We're gonna just take the whole world. We're gonna be all the two of us against that, and God forbid, part of the family is against the marriage. That's what push people usually back them to closer, and then they forget to talk about things that are important in a marriage.
Right.
They just continue focusing on, like, oh no, no, it's just against them and we're going to show them. That's
Oh,
a lot of times that happens.
that's amazing that you say that. Yes, it's us against the world. So they're focusing not so much about, them being whatever they are together. They're focusing on them being together and fighting against everything that's out there. Fantastic. Fantastic. And so they forget to do the essentials. It's like playing basketball and thinking, oh, I don't need to practice. We just need to be great together to get it done. No, you need to practice too.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
The love conquers all. That's it. Because you love me, so you're going to do things for me. And because I love you, you're going to do things for me. So I know exactly what I said. So it was a mistake. So it, there is also a big difference between couples in different ages. Mature couples, they already know, they've been around the block, they already know what to look for in the partner. Young people don't know that. They don't have enough experience, and usually we always learn from our mistakes, not somebody else's experiences on somebody else's mistakes. Our parents always tell us, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, because you're going to get hurt. Who does listen? Who does listen? Maybe
No,
five people in 100.
no.
So it's very important to approach wedding with a little, like, okay, there will be issues that we're not going to be able just to conquer with love.
Right.
Maybe we need to discuss that with the third party in safe environment and discuss this in deep details. Meaning, not because there's a lot a lot of things. No one is changing. There's another thing. A lot of young women is approaching relationship with, he's gonna do different things for me because he will love me. I will change him. He's gonna do this for me. No, what you see, what that's what you get. There's no one, you can't change someone against their will. It just doesn't happen. If that's what you think he's doing for you or she's doing for you at the beginning, they are just pleasing you. But later on in life, that's not going to continue like this. Everyone at certain point, every one of us have a breaking point. They're going to say, like, you know what, I've been doing this for you, I've been doing this for you, I need something for myself. So that's why it's very, very important to know how far your partner is willing to go. What are the goals, long term goals? Because every step that we're taking throughout our life is bringing us closer to our life goals, right? So, are we going to go the same path or are we going to go different ways? And just meet at home for the 15 minutes in the evening. Hi, honey, how was your day? And again, that, that kind of marriage, it's not going to survive. It's very important to acknowledge that there are two different people entering union, but doesn't mean they're going to change. They're going to become other people. They're still the same people. They still have goals. They still like what they like. They have their habits. Maybe someone is quirky and it's so cute at the beginning, and after that, oh hell, I'm gonna kill him if he's gonna do doing this. So it's a lot to talk about. A lot.
Yeah, it is. You in that stretch of like a minute, minute and a half that you just spoke. You spoke about like three separate reasons why you need marriage counseling: the lack of shared goals and values, the possibility of having cultural or religious differences that basically, and when you say cultural, I don't even necessarily mean um, I'm I'm Jewish and I'm not, and then I have different culture from you. No, from family to family, you can have different culture. One culture may decide, oh, we get up every Saturday morning and we fix the house, and that's what we do every Saturday. And then another culture may decide, no, we work all week, so we sleep in Saturday mornings and then we get other stuff done in the afternoon. We have a barbecue every Sunday, or we have a family gathering. People are expecting some of those same things to carry on into their relationship without having any conversation whatsoever with their person and their significant other. And then that person is like, "What? I'm doing what? What? Who agreed to this? I didn't agree to this."
Picnic, like in the middle of the forest. My idea of picnic is in a nice restaurant in a hotel or
You like glamping while he likes actual camping. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. There's so many different things that you have to discuss. Um, what about uh, how you're going to manage life transitions and adjustments? Like if something happens, say someone gets, God forbid, someone gets hurt, or someone loses their job, or now you have children. That's a transition, that's an adjustment. How are we going to manage that? And are you going to expect everything to remain the same or not? You have to have those conversations too, right?
you have to have this kind of conversations, how to deal with not only happy and joyful situations in life, because we do know that life is not all roses. Even roses have thorns.
Well,
So
some of
with
us
the
know.
beauty, with everything comes you know comes the pain. You going for that rose, you handing that rose to someone, and then you can feel the thorn, going straight into your hand. So it's a lot of different things. But um yes, how many children? That's number one. The style of parenting. What do you agree on what kind of, you want them to be. Of course, every parent wants their children to be the best human beings, but how are you going to go about it? How do you deal with situations when there is a problem? How are you going to approach if the child needs special care? How do you going to deal with the situation that if you cannot have any children, how are you gonna approach that? Are you going to push for let's say
Adoption.
IVF? How is the adoption? How do you feel about that? You need to approach all that beforehand, because later we're having situations like, well, I never thought we're gonna be even talking about that, or I thought you're going to look at this different way. I thought you're going to see this through set of my eyes. So there's a lot of complications. There's a lot
Yeah.
of complications. And like you mentioned, cultural differences are just it's a tremendous subject. There's a lot of issues where you're going to spend holidays. Why with your family, not with mine, and things like that. And
Ooh.
there's that's a big one. But there are ways. There's always a way to find to satisfy everybody and everything. Believe it or not, there is.
Yeah.
You just need to be willing to look what's important to other person, how we can go about it. What it's more important, is it the day important, day in the calendar, or just that you're going to be together? Because there are ways to go about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
understanding that, are you familiar with the unity candle ceremony?
You need to get no. Go ahead. Tell me about it.
So there's that one big candle, one big thick candle, tall one,
Oh.
and
Oh.
the two on the side. You're familiar
Yes.
with that, right?
Yes, I am. I am. Anglican boy. So yes,
Yeah,
Romans Catholics do it, and Anglicans do this for sure. Yes.
yeah. So it actually Roman Catholics no longer do that. They used to do that.
Oh, okay. They don't do it anymore. Okay.
No, I guess they're afraid that
Well,
liabilities. Someone can
burn
catch
the
fire. So,
no open flame. No open
yeah.
flame.
So the parents of a groom light up one small candle on the side. The parents of a bride light up the other one, and bride and groom pick up those candles and light up the big one.
Right.
Meaning two people coming as one.
Right.
So, but what it means, they don't become one person, because my husband and I, we still are who we are.
Right.
We work towards our goal, like we find our goal. We are walking together, but we are still two different people. He likes what he likes, I like what I like. And we had to sit down and figure this out. Like, okay, I like this, you like that. How we gonna deal with that? How we gonna do this? And this is great. So, um, you know, people can talk about it, right? And achieve the same thing. Doesn't mean that from now on he looks at life the way exactly he sees life the way she does, or she looks exactly the way he does. So you meaning this whole ceremony is sometimes misconstrued so badly, because
Yeah.
that means that two different people, they starting their own family.
Right.
Therefore, they have right to have their own traditions, their own likes, not exactly what one side of the
No.
family, the other one likes it. That means those two people from two different families, they form a new unit.
Yes.
That new unit about them will have everything new. That
Yeah.
means they don't have to go biking like everybody else in her family, or they don't have to go dine in expensive restaurants like in his family. They will decide what they want to do. They will decide where they want to go and how they going to celebrate holidays.
Yeah.
Not his way, not her way, their way.
Yeah.
So it's important that they understand that they have a right to do that.
Yes.
It's important that they will find a way to relate to their families without offending anyone, that they are doing this because they are, new family. That doesn't mean that they're going to raise their children like their in-laws on any other side.
Right.
Some people will form family without getting married, and this is what they want. And there's a way to find um, communication between families that this is what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right.
that's where marriage counseling comes. It's very important to find ways for everyone to communicate,
To work
not
through.
only the two partners, but the partners and the outside world as well.
Right. Right. They're family, because you're talking about two people coming together, but just like that ceremony, it's not real. It's six. There are two others from the other side, and then these two from here. There could be a blend of six different things. Maybe I don't want to go to expensive restaurants like my family used to go to before, and so now I want to drop that completely. But I was thinking about this, and this is how we'll get our first batch of like hate mail. Agnes, I was thinking about this. Life must have been so much easier when the husband just said, "This is how everything is gonna go," and this is this is it. This is it.
I'm sending you my first hate mail.
That's right. That's right. But no, I mean, can you imagine? It has to only have been maybe in the last 50 years, maybe the last 40 years, that everybody's been like, okay, let's actually think about that. Who wants what, and what do you want, and actually do a proper marriage counseling. And there's no way that it can ever work unless you guys parse through all these things. I'm literally looking at a list right now on my computer that I found online of 20 different things that you need marriage counseling for. And it is so overwhelming. You have to go through all of those things. And even some of them have subsections within them, because you, you can have, what if you have a lack of emotional connection? What if someone ends up having addiction and substance abuse? And when you say addiction, it doesn't even have to be drugs or alcohol or cigarettes. It could be, nowadays, it could be their phone. It could be pornography. It could be all these different things that you could be addicted to. Uh, uh, what about mental health concerns? Someone can come into a relationship, everything seems to be fine, but then they start acting a certain way, and you're like, what's happening? And then you find out their aunt so and so on their mother's side, had an issue, or their uncle, whoever. And anger management and conflict resolution. I mean, you know how many people are so afraid of conflict that they'll just say yes, yes, yes to everything, until the point where they just disappear. Just leave. Just leave. Just get up and go, because they don't want to have the conversation, because they're
That's
afraid of it. Can you
you can
imagine that?
that's why marriage counseling is very important, because 40, 50 years ago, everyone knew exactly their place and what they're going to be doing, right? The man provides, a woman is taking care of the children and home, right? He gives her allowance, she needs to deal with that and do whatever is necessary, because he's the king of the castle, and he can, if he's a good person and they found that connection, then he's going to be loving to his wife and his children, and everything will be nice and peachy and happy, um, until he hits midlife crisis and decides that he doesn't like what he's doing for a living, or decides that he wants a younger wife, or whatever. Or there will be an a-hole of a person who's going to go and don't care about the family, or a woman who's going to have a mental issue, and she's completely not going to agree to the path. Okay, this kitchen and a bedroom, this is the rooms where I'm going to find you, and this is what you're doing, and she's not going to do it. So what you will do in those kind of situations? Life is pursuit for happiness, right? So when you
Supposedly.
so, so now that freedom that we gain, that we can actually say, you know what, I'm not going to marry and just stay in the bags that in a marriage that is being pointed out to me. That's where your life fits. This is what you do. Okay, so that's why we have that freedom, and we going, and if we cannot find a resolution for ourselves, marriage counselors are or relationship coaches are fantastic people to actually reach out to and get help finding those answers how to deal with that, because doesn't mean what works for me was going to works for you, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
we all think there's as many people on this earth, everyone is different. So something might work for that person, some things won't work for that person. So it's difficult to navigate in between, but then there's no such a thing as a cookie cutter situation. You have to sit down and say, okay, what is the problem? Like literally. A lot of times, again, I keep repeating this for so many times, people talk about the same thing, but using different words, different tone of voice. There's a different set of emotions, and there's a big argument that they're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. They're saying the same thing, but they can't figure out that they actually have common ground either. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's fascinating to watch people like do this language thing around one another simply because it almost sometimes people get into a, a, a a pattern of always disagreeing with one another, even though they're saying the exact same thing. And they'll start the sentence with, no, I mean so and so and so. No, no. And I'm like, what do you mean, no? You just said the same thing I just said. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just not coming out. That's fantastic. You're talking about basically, having the conversation. Can you imagine if you can't figure that out and how to have conversations and how to communicate before you get married? How the heck are you going to solve anything once you are actually in the marriage already? Now you feel trapped, or now you
Yes.
feel tethered to this person who you feel like is not pulling their weight, or is uh, doesn't care about your feelings, or doesn't care about your kids' feelings, or the feelings of your family, or whatever. Now you're like, what is this? What did I do? Because at that point, then you're completely upset, and you won't even want to work through anything because, like, oh my gosh, I'm trapped with this. What I think is a person who is opposite and different from who I am, or who I wanted. And by the way, speaking of which, a lot of times, like you said in the beginning, the person that you think you're getting is often a very different person than the person who you meet like 3 months later. And I like to call that the representative, like in
Yes.
the early parts of the relationship. Sometimes a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, you're like, whoa, this is so great. We've never even had an argument. You know why? Because they're not actually being themselves. And then afterwards, now you're in trouble. Got married, and then everything changed right away. Ever hear people say, I got married, and the first argument that I had with my wife, we spoke, we didn't even talk to one another for a month? That's crazy.
See, but
And
that's when you mention representative. When people are dating, you showing your best side.
right,
A woman will spend an hour doing makeup and the hair and everything. It's nice and smell good, and then everything is the best, And then you're living together, and then you're waking up, it's like, oh my God, who are you? Or actually in Africa, one groom returned the bride following day home because the makeup went up,
came off.
wasn't came off,
Yeah,
and
I
that was like,
heard.
I do not know her. So and there was actually article in the newspaper about that. But I do advise I know it's against a lot of religions, and I'm sorry to religious people, but I do advise people to live together for a year before they get actually very serious about marriage, or tying the knot, or whichever way you want to seal that relationship, or make sure that you're going to live together. That year should be there, because during the year before the marriage, you cannot address everything. Oh, sure, everything will be fine. Oh, yeah, we're going to conquer all. Everything will be great. But then those little things that you don't even think about, and it's not possible to address all the issues beforehand. Oh, come out. I'll never forget myself. Like, I'm walking into into the apartment, and the panic is setting in. I say, "Oh my God, we've been robbed. Oh my God, what's going on?" He comes out from the kitchen, like I walked into the kitchen, and I see everything, all the cupboards open, all the drawers are open, everything. And he's eating his sandwich, and what happened? That was him just
Shocking.
leaving everything open so he can see what is where. It's like, are you kidding me? Like,
He preferred to not have doors on the cupboards.
well, yes, at least take them off instead leaving everything open, because you're walking in and you're knocking your head in the open door. Like, I can't.
That's just a difference that
One,
you would never be able to deal with. Yeah,
no, no. And it doesn't matter how wonderful the person would have been.
right.
That would have been a deal breaker. That, like, forget it. No, I'm
Right. If
sorry.
you had known beforehand, right. But that's the
Yeah,
problem.
absolutely,
Don't know
absolutely,
beforehand. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing.
absolutely.
Like little things that you thought you would know or thought you would figure out. And I guess a year is hopefully enough time, but you could literally have so many other things happen beyond that year that would break you guys that you would never ever even thought of before. Like you said, infertility or reproductive issues, um, like
Illness.
yeah, that jealousy and insecurity. Like me
Oh,
and you here together, we're having a great time, whatever, whatever. But the minute we, as a couple, go over to visit with another couple or their friends or whatever, not, and she, and he's smacking you in the head because he's saying, "I see you looking at Bill," and because he knows Bill's a philanderer. Now you're in trouble because that didn't happen before, but now you get, around a different situation. Now, what do you do? That's fascinating, Agnes. I mean, there's no way you shouldn't go for marriage counseling. It doesn't make any sense. I'm hearing now that marriage, aka that technology that puts us together, or whatever you want to look at it as, is like 55% now. Those people are, marriages are failing at the rate of like 55, 56%. And if that is happening, people are actually getting divorced at the rate of 56, 50. How many people are actually staying together, either for the kids or for maybe they can't afford to get divorced, or
that's
they
another
just
thing.
haven't, yeah, they just haven't gone to the situation where they actually have done it and gotten it done, because they're technically stagnation, have a stagnant relationship, but they won't do anything about it. And so it's rough, man. And if you want to get started and get a good start, I guess the thing would do is to talk it over. You wouldn't buy a car, well, and ladies, I'm not calling you a car. I'm just saying you wouldn't get into a relationship
You're
with.
so in trouble today.
I'm in no trouble. You're gonna send me all kinds of. But technically, think about it. You wouldn't go and get into a relationship with another business, or choose someone to come watch your kids or whatever, without like checking out who that person was and finding out what their shared values are, or hire a person. You wouldn't hire a person without knowing, who they've worked for before and what they've done in their lives, and whether or not their values align with yours. You want to be careful. So I would think that Yeah, the person who you're going to get married to, that can be one of the make or break decisions of your entire life. Ladies and gentlemen, take it from me. No question, that can be a make or break decision of your entire life. Agnes, you have some closing words?
Yes, that would be wonderful if everyone could just follow one decision. Be with someone because you want to, not because you have to, for whatever reason. That's what really is the killer of a lot of relationships. Marriage of circumstance.
Just doing it
Yeah.
because you want to, yeah, because it seems like it's an easy thing to do and that it works out. Oh boy. All right,
Taking
Liz.
time, taking time. It's the best thing. Live with someone for a year before you say I do. That's my advice.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where you're going to send your hate mail. Mailbag at lovedeathandtaxes.com. My name is Ryan. Okay, go ahead. Send it. But if you're a local business and you're looking for, especially if you're on Long Island or you're in New York and you need some issues, you have some issues with your taxes, you need that straightened out because you can't figure out what's going on, you definitely want to go to nytaxresolutions.com because that is where you're going to find Agnes and she will help you. No judgments. She will help you figure out those issues that you have there. Okay. So, ladies and gents, this has been Love, Death, and Taxes. You can hear this on Spotify. You can hear this on Apple. You can hear this on Alexa. Any of those places, you will definitely want to go there and hear this show. I hope I didn't activate her by saying her name. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great time, and we'll see you next week. Bye, Agnes.
Bye.